So I just picked up the Can-Am Outlander Max XTP 1000R. Just going to talk about some of the differences that I found. You can read about a lot of the differences. One of the differences that's kind of hard to tell. So this is the 2019, like I said. This is my old one. This is the 2016. The 2019 is 2 inches wider, so you can kind of see the body here. It's flush right there. What they did on the 2019 now, this was where it was flush before. They've added this piece to it to give it a little bit more of a fairing that covers that 1 inch wider on each side. So they've got these little fairings that they put on to cover that. Let's see, the power steering. So I don't know if other people have had these, the 2016, 17, or 18, but the power steering mode on this one, the older models, I've had issues with. I mean, not issues, it's not like it's broken. It just, at idle, it doesn't do a great job. And when I put my plow on also, it was really hard to steer. It was almost like it didn't have any power steering. I brought it in, I test drove several of the other models that they had, and it just, it didn't work very well. This one, this is their next generation. It's a tri-mode power steering system, and it works really well. Oh my gosh, it is phenomenal. Even at idle, it turns really easy. In fact, I keep this, there's 3 different modes on there where you can go to low, medium, high, and I've been keeping this, well actually it's minimum, normal, and high, I think is what it is. I've been keeping this one at minimum, and it works way better than the one that's on this one. So really happy with the power steering on it. It's fantastic. Also the throttle, okay, on the 2016, it's just the regular throttle like everybody has, the cable mount throttle. This is a different throttle system. It is electronic. So the throttle is just a whole lot easier. It's way smoother. And then this is the switch right here. You can go to sport mode, normal mode, or work mode. Work mode could also be if you want to let somebody borrow your ATV and you don't want them to go crazy with it. I think it's awesome. It's really cool. The throttle response on this, it doesn't lunge anymore, even though this is the 1000 versus my other one being the 850. The 850, boy, you touch that throttle and it lunges quite a bit. This one does not, because of the electronic throttle. It's the schedule on it, I guess, is better. Let's see. The XTP obviously has a different gauges on it. The other thing is the suspension. The suspension here, it's got the Fox shocks, the yellow coilovers, and I gotta say, going around corners on this one, on the XTP, now I did not ride an XTP before, so I don't know. It may be very similar, but it doesn't roll side to side much at all. This one on the suspension, what it would do, when I would brake hard, the nose would dive down. You can actually, I would hit the skid plate there on the front a lot. It would bottom out a whole lot when I was riding aggressively. This one, it just sits higher because of the suspension. The suspension kind of holds it up a little bit higher, and it doesn't compress as much. So my thoughts were originally that I was concerned about how rough of a ride it was going to be. And surprisingly, for whatever reason, I don't understand it. Well, those of you who know shocks would understand it a lot better than I would, but it's actually a smoother ride. So the shocks feel like it holds it up better, it doesn't bottom out as much, and somehow it's still smoother going over the bigger rocks. The other thing it does, so going around the corners, I don't know about the other ATV or the other XTP models prior to 2019, but this has oh my gosh, I forgot what it's called now. Sway bar, that's it. Sway bar or anti-sway bar, whatever you want to call it. But it has those to help it from swaying when you're cornering. It stays straight. One of the things I have not done yet is like rock crawling, which is what I really like to do. So I'm curious how well it's going to do rock crawling. The other thing, and it's hard to see, might have to do it from the back here, is the arched A-arms. So the A-arms are arched a little bit to give you a little bit more clearance on the front end. So they kind of come across and then they come down. So if you can see here on this one, the A-arms go across and then down, giving you a little bit more clearance across there. And then on my old one, those are straight across. You can see that they're down quite a bit lower there. So a little bit more clearance on the front end, which is nice. Overall, this thing is really, really awesome. The stability of it is insane compared to the 2016 model non-XTP. On this one, when I'd get to about 50 miles an hour on dirt roads, pucker factor started to increase about 50 because it just didn't feel real stable. Getting into 60 and 70, it got to be the pucker factor increased significantly at that point. This one, I was out on a dirt road, got it up to 50, and literally it just felt like I was driving a car. It really, the stability is amazing. Oh, I also failed to mention the oh no, I did at the beginning, 2 inches wider. So I think the 2 inches wider and the suspension at the same time helps with that stability. But then I brought it up to 60 miles an hour, and still it just feels really stable. It's one amazing machine. I love it, absolutely love it. So this one's up for sale now. Anyway, if you get a chance to go ride it. Oh, the other thing I did was I took it out just to see how it felt on off-camber trails. So I took it along a trail that had a, well, it wasn't really a trail, it's just out on some property that had a big berm on it that was at quite an angle. So I decided to ride across the berm, and I couldn't believe how much more stable it felt on that berm. Part of it was that it just wasn't rolling over to the side because of suspension. This one tends to just kind of lean downhill, which does not help with off-camber areas. This one does not do that, and it is 2 inches wider, and that 2 inches really makes a difference in the stability. It's really, really awesome. Anyway, that's my review on the 2019 Outlander Max XTP. If you get a chance to ride one, I think you'd be really impressed